She's still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new spin of complaints here. Here's one from her most recent episode, which,
illustrious men.
And that's annoying because she's supposed to be the star. Michelle Obama. This dovetails perfectly with so many other comments she's made about how she is like, what about me? What about me? What did those 8 years in the White House do to my soul? And why isn't anyone asking? They shouldn't have to be told to ask about how I'm...
Michelle Obama, the woman who somehow transformed kale, cardigans, and side-eyes into a brand empire. Yes, the same Michelle who descended from the White House balcony on a cloud of spinach smoothies, and when they go low, we go high bumper stickers. America's first lady of fitness, because nothing says relatability like giving nutrition lectures while flying private to brunch with Beyonce. What an inspiration if you're inspired by performative wellness wrapped in elite packaging.
Michelle, it's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years, and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
I think you're 100% right. This is only her third episode. I can't think of anybody I would go to for advice less than Michelle Obama. She really doesn't know what she's talking about. First of all, she loves to tell us she hated Barack for a good decade.
Yes.
Okay, please teach me how to have a successful relationship with someone that you clearly respect and admire. Every time she's on the air, it's like, I'm dragging this ball of dead weight behind me. His name, Barack Obama. He's bringing me down. I'm trying to elevate myself with these things on my head.
It looks like Mickey Mouse.
It's so
like
weird.
The two ears up there, these two big balls on the left and the right of her head.
Like, what kind of midlife crisis is she in the throat?
Michelle Obama, the only person who could gentrify both a school lunch and a public speech. This is the woman who turned a sweet potato into a symbol of national virtue and a side-eye into a sermon. She didn't just walk out of the White House. She floated on a cloud made of kale chips, filtered lighting, and 24-karat motivational quotes.
Back to our daily segment of Michelle Obama's terrible, terrible life. Boo effing who. She went on a podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's kind of rings a bell like a founder kind of situation. And once again, wants you to know how awful it is to be married with children.
There are just many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like, I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Just listen to what I said, right? Like, it's probably, if you're having some issues in your marriage, it's not you, it's the process of...
Remember when she dropped that gem? When they go low, we go high? Oh yes, high like cruising altitude in a Gulf Stream headed to a Hollywood rooftop brunch where the air is thin and the avocado toast costs $72. And let's be honest, her childhood. Obesity campaign wasn't about the kids. It was about turning school lunches into Pinterest boards. Kale chips, quinoa, and judgment served cold with a smug little grin.
Doesn't feel organic at all.
It reads
same photo. They both posted the exact same photo. So clearly staffers put all of this together.
Okay, and also, can we ask the lawyer in you to parse these statements? Because, okay, let's take Barack, for example. You still take my breath away. How?
Right.
With your fucking anger? With your complete inability to just get with the program and show up?
At the inauguration, so I have to walk in like a lonely soldier?
Exactly. And then tell people you're mad because I was laughing with Donald Trump?
Right.
Maybe you're taking my breath away for...
Her legacy isn't just hope, it's hope with a subscription box. You don't get to call yourself relatable while wearing Balenciaga to talk about hunger. This woman turned authenticity into an NFT. She's selling inspiration like it's a skincare serum comes with a free tote bag and a TED Talk. Michelle isn't helping the people, she's helping the brand. And like any luxury brand, she wants you to believe you need her even if you just came for lunch and left with a lecture.
Which leads me to Michelle Obama. Every day she's dropped another negativity bomb on us, whether on her podcast or on someone else's. I mean, this audience knows she never says anything positive. It is all complaints. So she goes on another podcast. She's promoting her show, so she's making the rounds. The Diary of a CEO podcast, and actually found a way to bitch and moan about how hard it is to live in the White House.
When you walk through a storm, keep your head held high. Show me. What
Watch
does
it.
this look like?
It's projecting that if you win, which I thought he could and should, he would be somebody that I would want as my president. It was all about, this is going to, our kids are little. We're going to have to move. How do you raise kids?
But don't worry, while kids across the country were suffering under her anti-snack regime, Michelle was busy locking down a multi-million-dollar Netflix deal. Because when you think binge-worthy content, obviously you think Michelle Obama reading from a teleprompter about community gardens. Riveting. Truly the next Spielberg. Her idea of entertainment feels like a TED Talk crossed with an HR compliance video that drank too much chamomile tea. She called it inspirational. The rest of the world called it ambient, with subtitles.
Just accept that money, power, and privilege are perfectly justifiable forms of affirmative action, while kids growing up like I did are expected to compete when the ground is anything but level. You know what, Michelle? Same. And I'm white. I didn't have any of those advantages. I showed up the day of the SAT. I was like, it's the SAT today? Oh, shit, okay. My friend loaned me a pencil. I never took a review class. We didn't have the money for anything. Like, it's not just a...
And speaking of media makeovers, let's not forget how Michelle, once hailed as a reluctant public servant, has spent her post-White House years clinging to the spotlight like it owes her rent. Her entire brand screams, I didn't ask for this, but since I'm here, let's talk about my new $50 journal and matching hoodie, available now on Shopify. One minute she's telling us to be humble, the next she's on a book tour with stadium lighting, pyrotechnics, and ticket prices that rival Beyoncé's. Because nothing says modesty like charging $500 a seat to hear Pinterest-worthy quotes under a spotlight. And the book, the book, that holy grail of self-importance. A 400-page tribute to herself that somehow manages to be both incredibly long and completely devoid of substance. It reads like it was ghostwritten by a committee of Instagram wellness influencers and a PR intern. You get chapters on how hard it is to be famous, how exhausting it is to be adored, and how we should all find our power preferably while buying her merch. It's like a self-help book if the self being helped was a billionaire talking to peasants through a ring light.
Every word she says about Barack Obama is negative. I can't think of her sitting there just waxing poetic about him, complimenting, he's brilliant, he's a great dad, he was the greatest president, whatever a normal wife of Barack Obama would say. Every time she opines, it's something that reflects poorly on him, how he's insensitive, how he's not a talker, how he doesn't know how to relate to people, he doesn't keep the same schedule as she does, and now we're talking about you can have a bad decade in America.
Meanwhile, let's all keep pretending she's still that every woman we were sold back in 2008, the working mom, grounded and real. Except now that working mom is vacationing in Italy with a professional makeup artist, a glam squad, and a security detail large enough to invade a small country. Michelle Obama has become a brand so meticulously manicured that if she ever got a paper cut, it would be from her own business card. She's got more stylists than a Kardashian, and yet she still lectures America about authenticity. Let's pause. For her fashion icon era, because nothing says subtle public service like showing up to state dinners, looking like she just stepped off a Vogue cover shoot. Apparently, the solution to childhood obesity was hiding it under layers of Valentino. She managed to turn the First Lady role into a continuous runway show, all while side-eyeing anyone who dared suggest that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't exactly relatable. But hey, it was for the children, right? That's why we were all treated to 12 glossy photos of Michelle in custom designer gowns while she told kids to skip dessert.
Angry. She's angry and unhappy. I've watched enough of her over the years, and then with this ridiculous podcast she's trying to launch to see she's a deeply unhappy person.
What's happening with people at that level in podcasts? What's Gavin Newsom doing?
He's running for president. That one makes more sense to me strategically. She's like, she should be in her therapist's office. Her brother Craig is not. Oh, he did?
Yeah, what do you think I should do?
I don't support it.
Yeah?
Well, my feeling is Gavin Newsom is using people to build up his skills so that he can more effectively debate.
And then there's Michelle's unshakable habit of transforming every mildly awkward moment into a full-on moral seminar. Stuck in traffic, teachable moment, burnt toast, opportunity for growth. Somehow, no matter what happens, the conclusion is always the same. Michelle is flawless, and you should absolutely consider cloning her mindset. She doesn't just talk, she delivers narratives, like she's auditioning for a 12-part Ken Burns documentary titled Elegance in Motion. Her inspirational talks don't lift you up, they gently pummel you with humble brags marinated in self-reverence. You leave feeling like you attended a TED Talk where the main takeaway was, buy my memoir, eat your vegetables, and bask in my glow. It's not motivation, it's a lifestyle infomercial wrapped in a silk blouse. Even her side eyes feel curated for the highlight reel.
Obama, still trying to make her struggling podcast a thing, went on a 4.5-minute tear about herself and how hard it is to be Michelle Obama. We're going to go through quite a bit of it. Here's the first one about how difficult it is for Black women like Michelle to articulate their pain.
We grew up with women who weren't voicing the pain and the burden. They made it look easy. And when you make stuff look easy, people assume that you must like this.
Yeah.
It's okay with you, right?
Remember when she launched that goofy cartoon on Netflix for kids about healthy cooking? Because clearly what toddlers really need is animated produce voiced by Michelle Obama. That's the kind of ego that says, yes, I left public office. But what the world truly needs is me, personified as a cartoon squash, teaching children how to zest a lemon. Somewhere, Big Bird is crying. But don't you dare criticize her. No, questioning Michelle Obama's motives is like asking the Pope about his hat off limits. She's been wrapped in so many layers of celebrity sainthood that she could sell organic. Tap water, and people would call it revolutionary. Her fans act like she cured cancer with a kale smoothie and a well-placed platitude. Just mention her name, and half the room starts weeping while the other half signs up for a leadership retreat.
The face of the earth, then left to write her best-selling memoir for which she was paid millions, then signed a Netflix deal for which she was paid millions, is giving speeches for which she's getting paid almost $1 million per speech, has 2 daughters who went to Harvard and USC. The 2 of them together, I haven't even counted her husband's riches. They're definitely billionaires by now. The house in Martha's Vineyard, which is, I think, $20 million out on the yachts of David. What happened to me? Why doesn't anyone think about what happened to me during my... I'm enraged. I'm almost speechless at how ridiculously out of touch this person.
And let's not forget her favorite pastime, dunking on America from a luxury vacation suite. Every time she goes on tour, we get another installment of Michelle's thoughts on why America has let her down today. According to her, she wakes up each morning shocked that anyone could possibly disagree with her. Because in Michelle world, if you don't worship every syllable she utters, you're obviously part of the problem. There's no room for nuance, just applause or exile. Even her philanthropy feels like it was cooked up in a marketing meeting over kale smoothies and brand synergy slides.
Is it, Michelle? It's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years, and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
Every noble cause she touches somehow aligns perfectly with a product launch. Promoting literacy? Great. Just make sure you're holding her signature leather bookmark in your Instagram post. Empowering young women? Fantastic, but don't forget to grab the limited edition Michelle-approved hoodie and sip your virtue from a stainless steel tumbler that whispers, "I'm better than you." Her charity work isn't about helping people so much as building a lifestyle empire with a conscience. It's not a nonprofit, it's a motivational merch store with a mission statement. You can't even donate without accidentally subscribing to her monthly newsletter.
We would never know who you are if it hadn't been for him.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sure she would say the reverse. He would never have been president if it hadn't been for her. Like, she was the inspo, she was the strength and the force behind the man. But, he was very young. We just actually saw a video of him speaking on the campus of Harvard Law School in favor of, more black professors and so on. He still had the Barack Obama orator skills.
Yep.
Like, he was obviously a star in the making from a very young age.
Very young age.
I'm sure she thinks it's her, but I think it actually was him. And some of his ex-girlfriends talk about how he made a choice to align with this strong, black woman as opposed to the white women he'd been dating. And he's half white too.
Yep.
Right. And so like to get him the street cred he needed with Chicago voters where he started.
Meanwhile, the media treats her like she's the reincarnation of every moral virtue wrapped in a pantsuit. She breathes, and journalists write think pieces about her grace. She smirks, and Twitter erupts in applause for her strength. She posts a photo of a smoothie, and Vogue dedicates a special issue. Michelle could spill hot coffee on a toddler, and someone would say, yes, Queen scald that systemic inequality. The irony? Michelle Obama started her career criticizing others for being too ambitious, and now she's turned ambition into a lifestyle brand. She's not a public servant anymore, she's a public spectacle. Every move is orchestrated, every word rehearsed. Even her off-the-cuff moments have the feel of a TED Talk pre-approved by a committee and designed to sell lavender candles and performative guilt. It's amazing.
Amazing. Every word she says about Barack Obama is negative. I can't think of her sitting there just waxing poetic about him, complimenting, he's brilliant, he's a great dad, he was the greatest president, whatever a normal wife of Barack Obama would say. Every time she opines, it's something that reflects poorly on him, how he's insensitive, how he's not a talker, how he doesn't know how to relate to people, he doesn't keep the same schedule as she does, and now we're talking about you can have a bad decade in a minute.
Let's talk about how she somehow managed to become more insufferable after the White House. She left politics, but dragged the political posturing with her. One minute she's dancing with Ellen, the next she's lamenting our divided nation, while cashing checks larger than the GDP of small countries. She wants to be above the fray, while standing dead center in it. She's a walking contradiction wrapped in Spanx and pearls. And then there's the myth, the one that insists she's still just Michelle from the South Side. Please. Michelle from the South Side doesn't summer on yachts with George Clooney. Michelle from the South Side isn't guest-editing magazines while wearing $3,000 boots and sipping matcha in a suite scented with curated essential oils and unearned reverence. She's about as everyday woman as a diamond-studded yoga mat. Her real legacy? Turning self-congratulation into a multi-platform empire. She's proof that with the right PR team and a few carefully staged anecdotes, you too can turn public office into private industry. She's not a symbol of hope. She's a masterclass in monetizing sanctimony. And the best part, she's done it all while pretending she didn't want it. I didn't ask for this, she says, right before signing a new documentary deal and negotiating merchandising rights. Michelle Obama is the queen of the humble brag. She'll say, I'm just trying to help, right before launching a new fragrance called Resilience. She'll talk about the little things that matter while taking selfies with celebrities who wouldn't recognize a little thing if it ran them over in a Prius. Her relatable moments are choreographed with the precision of a military opera Beyoncé album drop. And still, despite all the glossy production, she expects to be treated like she's speaking truth to power from the back of a bus. But her version of authenticity is the Hollywood kind, crafted by stylists, filtered through consultants, and polished until it shines like a trophy. She's not challenging the system, she's licensing it. At this point, if Michelle launched a line of artisanal air, people would show up with mason jars to buy it. She's built a cult of personality so intense that her mere existence is now considered political commentary. She doesn't need to say anything substantive. She raises an eyebrow, and the media does the rest. Who needs leadership when you've got vibes? In the end, Michelle Obama's real talent isn't activism, leadership, or even health advocacy. It's branding. She's taken a single public role and spun it into a lifestyle religion, one that worships curated perfection, inoffensive inspiration, and the illusion of moral superiority all wrapped in a limited edition hoodie. She's less a person now and more a product.